All right, welcome back to another episode of the Forehands Middle podcast. I've now lost track of episodes. Is this episode 4 or episode 5? Do you know?
I have no idea. I can only imagine what's going to happen when we get up to like 30 or 35 and we're going to be like, shit.
Well, hopefully we get there. I don't know. We're going to see. So we've at least done every week in a row, so we are consistent. And so thanks for tuning in. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Nico the Lefty, and we have a co-host, as always,
Gino the righty, your right-hand man in pickleball.
Gino the righty, your right-hand man in pickleball. I wish there was like a left-hand, I don't know, your left-handed compliment, backhand. I don't know. I can't think of what the lefties do it better man of pickleball. I don't know. But that's awesome. I'm glad that you now have a new and improved catchphrase or tagline or motto. I'm not sure what that actually is. What is that? What?
I don't know. I honestly, I gotta remember who it was. I think it's Let's Go Pickleball Co. Shout out whoever it was. I had no idea what it was, what to do, because I basically, we create these little videos and things that are fun. And I had no idea how to like sign it off. And I was like, do I need some sort of thing? And I was testing a couple things and somebody was like, hey, you're an idiot. This took me 5 seconds. It was laying there on the plate for you. So once I remember the specific person's name, I'm sorry, I'm blanking right now, but I'll give you a shout out.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on your new. Yes, exactly. Well, we have a lot to go over today, so we're going to try and keep it tight here, but we had some crazy stuff happening at the PPA Cincinnati. I went and played in a pickleball tournament myself. We ran fantasy pickleball, so we're going to get into all of that and more. So first off, we're going to kick it off. Before we get into PPA, I want to talk a little bit about my pickleball tournament experience here. So for those of you who are watching here, I went to iPickle.
Great shirt, by the way.
Thank you. Yes, exactly. Like a lot of the tournament shirts are like one and done, but there's a couple companies in California that run tournaments that have great shirts. So shout out to Kappa, who has amazing like athletic shirts. I actually even reached out to them on Instagram. I was like, hey, if you have any other colors laying around, like I will rep those in like every single video that I have. And you probably have seen me in like a pink one and a blue one repeatedly. So shout out Kappa. And then this one is like, this feels like Carhartt, like a cool shirt that you would just like wear all the time.
That's the thing is I feel like there's a big miss where, if you spend an extra, whatever it is, $1, maybe $2 on your shirts, you will get so much more free advertising, I feel like. Because there are, like you said, there are some shirts from tournaments that I wear and I wear constantly because one, either it's good for playing pickleball or it's just a cool looking shirt. This is obviously the latter, where it's one of those shirts where you just want to wear it out and about. It looks a little heavy. I don't think I'd play pickleball in it, but do you think that iPickle really cares if you're wearing their shirt at pickleball or if you're wearing it where people are not playing pickleball? I don't know, but it's
exactly. You probably want to advertise to the people that aren't already on the court. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, the only problem that I ever have with these shirts are that I'm like 6'4", long torso. So this shirt is great for podcasting right now because it's almost a crop top for me.
No standing
But
necessary.
I did, and also apologies in advance to iPickle. I did take like 2 extra shirts for family members while I was there. So, oops. But anyway, so let me tell you. So iPickle runs these like monthly like money ball tournaments. And by the way, I think any tournament that runs, unless it's like a charity tournament, should have some kind of money ball component. What do you think, Jim?
I 1000% agree. I think the two main things to get the highest level play that you want that I've seen that works is having a money ball component that doesn't report to Duper. That's how you'll get all of the people that are, the high level players in the surrounding area coming out to your courts. Yeah, and it doesn't really matter how much money it is. I live in the East Bay and we have courts Willa Pass, shout out. And there have been lots of tournaments that happen there, but recently they've been starting to add a money ball component, like you're saying, and the turnout is night and day. You'll see there's like a 5-0 bracket, which has basically nobody, and then everybody joins the money ball, and it's fantastic. You'll get 5-5, 5-9, some 6-0 players come out to these tournaments and play, and it's really, really fun, and you get to challenge yourself for basically no risk to them, because I think the biggest thing with the new Duper algorithm is they're worried that their Duper is going to go down, but if there's money ball with no potential of them losing to a 4-9 or not scoring 13 out of 11 points to not ruin their Duper, it's a great thing to see, and I think helps the pickleball community.
Yeah, true. By the way, one Duper algorithm random like quirk is that if your dupers are farther than a point away on average from the other teams, then it does not affect either team's score, which is wild. So at least like if you are like completely way past skill level or way below, like it won't affect anybody. But yeah, so I mean it's good. So the way that the tournament works at iPickle and Kappa and some of these Southern California tournaments are every other division reports to Duper except the Moneyball division, which I think is right? And so like I said, you get people that can go and play for money and not have to worry about anything else, and that's what kind of a lot of these like fringe pros want to do. This tournament was $2,000 for each winning team in, I think, women's, mixed, and men's, and then there was like maybe 1,500 or 1,000 for winning player in singles. And so the tournaments roll out like over 1,000 people in the tournament, right? So it's like PPA level size tournament. And then Moneyball usually has like anywhere between like 20 and 40 teams. And so in this tournament, I got to play both 5-0 mixed doubles, and I played a Moneyball mixed doubles. And boy, Moneyball mixed doubles was wild because, like, as you mentioned, you live in Northern California where we have played in some Moneyball tournaments, and you usually have like some 5-0s and maybe like one or two like 5-7s, and then you have like some 5-4s, right? This was like 6-1, 6-1, 6-2, 6-1 dupers for the guys, and women were like 5-9, 5-8, 5-7, 5-7. And that there is like a significant difference between 5-7 and 6-1.
And signed pro.
Yeah, and signed pro. The difference is like looking at a 6'1" person versus a 5'7" person in height, right? It's a huge difference, right?
Yeah.
So
one gets dates, one gets no dates.
Exactly. One gets wins and one gets no wins, all right? And so I was the one that got no wins, right? I was basically the midget on the court. I was like, my duper hovers right around 5'0", exactly. And
you got to wear lifts in your shoes and everything. It's tough.
Oh my goodness. So we went, and the first match that we had, I was like, all right, maybe we get a warm-up or something. No. The other team got a warm-up match, and we got to play Jill Braverman and Andre Millet, I think is how you pronounce his name. And so, Andre, current partner of Megan Fudge at the APP Tour, APP medalist, Jill Braverman, like consistent gold medalist at the APP, not just like APP Pro, not just like automatic into the main draw, but gold medalist, at least a medalist every single time. Gets the best partners, and so first off, my thoughts are, one is like, APP, you got to pay these pros more so that they stop playing in these money balls. Like at some point, there's like a level where I'm like, look, oh my gosh, like we can't win. They stomped us. It was like it's 1-11, win by 1. We didn't have to worry about win by 1 all day. But they won 11-4, and I think it might have been like 6-3 at the changeover at 6. And I hear Jill kind of like go to Andre and go like, hey, let's work on our drops for the rest of the game. And I'm like, damn it. And so luckily at least I had, feedback from my partner. I was like, oh, hey, they're going to just hit drops now. So like, that's what you can look out for.
We don't have to worry about
it. Yeah. It didn't help at all, but that's what they were going for, right? They're just like, all right, we're using this as a tune-up. So, you're welcome. I got to be your tune-up person, but it was fun playing them. One thing I noticed is they hit the ball so hard, right? Like, so I think a lot of people have this misconception that 6-0s are just very consistent. And while it may be true, that is not what sets 6-0s apart from 5-5s or 5-0s or whatever, right? They are so aggressive and hit so hard. Yeah, they don't make a lot of mistakes, but like every single ball was like a fight for my life, starting from like Andre's serve. And like Andre's like looks like he's like 5'7", like 140 pounds or whatever, right? And he's just ripping the hardest serves that I've ever had to deal with. And I'm standing basically ass to the fence and hitting these like the shortest returns ever. So
it looks like he's like floating on the court sometimes. Like he's just like, it's like you're playing a video game and you have like a little like Sims avatar or something like that. And you're clicking him and you're just kind of moving him around. He's just like everywhere. It's amazing how quick that little dude is.
Yeah. So, and what's crazy is they didn't even win the whole thing, right? So you have like APP gold medalist does not win Moneyball. So that's crazy, right? So they got second. Avery Chu and Alex Emery ended up getting first. And you know, Alex, which I know you're not listening to this, but wanted to take this time to apologize. In our match, I was like, all right, I'm pulling the Hayden Patriquin, I'm going high and hard, right? And I'm like, I'm gonna hit him right in the eye pickle. And I did not hit him right in the eye pickle. I hit him right here.
Right in the eye.
So right in the eye. I was aiming for the pickle and I got the eye. But
yeah, that's insane that they won. Shout out again. It's amazing to think how delusional I am. I remember, I think it's about 2 years ago, I actually played against Avery back in a 5-0 bracket. And I think the next tournament, I was like, hey, Avery, I see you're signed up for a tournament. Would you like to play together? And she's kind of, the nicest girl of all time. And she's like, oh, I don't actually know if I'm going to be there, blah, blah. And then now she's just winning iPickle, beating out, signed APP pros. And I'm like, that's because I'm a fucking idiot and you're so much better than me.
She's
thank you for letting me down
so
easy.
good. She's so good. I think I remember that comment. I think she might have said something to the effect of, let me ask my dad, right? And it was like, and he's like, there's no fucking way in hell that we're letting my daughter, the future of pickleball, play with this clown.
Exactly. Yeah, that's basically how it read. But I thought I had a chance still. I was like, oh, that was, it's like when you're getting broken up with and you don't really know what's happening. You're like, oh, that was my decision. And you're like, no, what the? She just brain ninjas the shit out of him.
Oh yeah, no, and we all have that experience where we think that we have a chance and we don't. I always mention when I DM'd Alex Trong trying to play rec matches in DC. I'm like, oh hey, this person looks like they got a high duper, and maybe we'll play together, and then she just let me on red. But yeah, so anyway, my point was in all of this, had a great time playing. We went 1-7, and so we did win a match against a 5-4. We got an easy one against a 5-4 duper, which is crazy. That's our breather. And some people that didn't even make it out of pool play or 5-9. So anyway, so the learnings are, one is please APP and whatever other auxiliary division pay your pros more so that they don't go to these ever again. But what I told my partner was this is a learning experience for us, because these people would refuse to play with us in a regular situation. Literally, we couldn't basically pay them to play with us, but here we basically paid them to play with us. And so I got to play 8 matches with people that would never play with me, and I got to learn a lot. We won a match. And so if you're wondering the difference between 5-0 and 6-0, to me, I think it's sheer terror and aggression. They go for your throat. Their dinks are super aggressive. Their drops and drives are hard, aggressive. They do not back off the line 1 inch and attack your weakest spots all the time. So you're just always uneasy, basically shitting your pants every single shot.
Yeah, basically, I think the scariest thing is any shot that you hit to them, you have literally no idea what their next shot. They can basically hit any shot that they want to. And so that's the scariest thing is when you're playing those, borderline 6-0s or in your case 6-1s kind of thing, is you hit it, even if you hit a decent dink or whatever, they're like, okay, I have no idea what this asshole's going to do. It could be any shot. And so you're just basically sitting there and then you just freeze. But I wanted to point out as well is when people are saying that it's just consistency, it's 100% you're correct. Is it's not just consistency. The reason it looks like they're just consistent is because the other team, usually when you're watching these people like Jill Braverman, they're playing other 6-0s or 6-5s or whatever it is. And the other team is just hitting such aggressive dinks that they cannot be aggressive to those shots. But when you or I or an average mere mortal is playing these people, they are attacking everything because we're not hitting the greatest shots. So that's why people think that it's not a pure aggression. But then also, side note to that as well, about APP versus and then bringing in PPA is this is why I think there's such a thought around PPA being varsity and APP being kind of JV is I don't think you would see a signed PPA pro at one of these tournaments. Correct me if I'm wrong, but no, could you imagine if you showed up to iPickle and Federico Stastrud was in the singles draw or Ben Johns was playing mixed doubles? It's just absolutely not. But all of these people from APP are I can win $1,000. I can win $1,000. Sign me up.
Yeah, exactly. So there's definitely a difference in level. I think the only thing that you would see if it was allowed, which is not allowed anymore, is someone like Anna Bright who can't get away from the game playing Moneyball men's against 6-0 dudes. Like that's maybe what you see, and that's like for her having like a fun challenge for herself, not to win money. It's like, all right, I got nothing else to do on an off weekend. Let me go play in one of these tournaments. But like, yeah. Anyway, but for the time being, I'm gonna keep going to iPickle and get my teeth kicked in until I'm no longer allowed to play. But then for those of you who also like to troll me and tell me that I'm like awful at pickleball, like I'm not awful at pickleball, and played mixed the next day, and there were like also 20 teams in this division, and took second. So that's awesome. On the podium, I'm 38 years old. I'm by far the oldest person on this podium. So my partner is probably second oldest at like 32, 33. The team that won is like two 16-year-olds, and the girl that was on the third place team was 13. So shout out Jing. She was so good. Like we hit like the first 3 returns to this 13-year-old girl who could barely see over the net, and then it was like clean winner drop to my backhand, like 2 out of the 3 times. And so I was like, all right, never again. We're just gonna return to this other dude. And like ex-professional soccer player, we got to return to him because the 13-year-old girl is whooping our ass. So, but yeah, it's amazing. Like I'm just counting the days till I can like completely age out of like 19 plus or whatever, 12 plus, because they're just too good. And the things that they can do with their wrist and their hands are crazy. One hill that I'm also willing to die on is that these like 16, 13-year-olds, 10-year-olds, as they're learning, like it's okay to learn how to be consistent, but like consistent if that's how you are teaching like your main philosophy in pickleball, like no longer good enough. All right. Mm-hmm. And so like all these kids, they learn like the craziest trick shots. And like what happens is you play them and you beat them because like they're not consistent, but they have a ton of weapons. But you can learn consistency over time, right? It's much easier to learn to be consistent than it is to learn to hit some of these shots at your ankles with the crazy flicks and rolls and misdirection and deception. And so if you're young and you're learning how to play pickleball, like try and be as offensive, as aggressive, as wild as you can be. And then you can rein it in, figure out which of the things, the shots that are crazy that you do well, and like triple, double down on those things. You're going to be so much more scary than someone who's just like a backboard and gets everything back, because those people eventually like, get broken, right? Like you can only be so good at defense. Like if you look at Colin Johns, like who's phasing out of the game? Him, right? Because he's just a defensive backboard. Like I got to play Callan Dawson, right? And there's another example of a guy that like I played him and like he didn't make a single mistake all game. It was wild, but was he ever scary? No, right? And like I think that's probably his limitation as well. So that's my thoughts. Like I think the game has shifted, and so I don't know. What do you think, Gino? If you're teaching like a 13-year-old, what are you thinking here?
I think specifically, when you're drilling or playing or whatever it is honestly you should be attacking every single ball that you can attack every single time, because like you're saying, consistency, hitting a cross-court dink, you can only hit so many cross-court dinks or straight-up dinks before, you want to blow your brains out, or before, you can only get so good at that specific shot. But there's so much more variety in a speed up with counters and where that ball is going, how fast that ball is going, off-pace speed up, slot, whatever it is. So taking the time to kind of drill that into your brain will serve you so much more in a tournament, or when there's actually stakes on the line, rather than, okay, I just need to be consistent and dink, and then when there is a hands battle or something like that, then I'll handle it then. But I think, yeah, you can even see it in the pro game, people like Ben Johns or JW Johnson, who are now starting to speed up off the bounce, which they never, ever did before. And so I think people like Gay, people like Hayden are showing us you need to be able to speed up from anywhere, or to be offensive as possible, or else, again, like you said, you're going to phase out. And so practicing those high intensity scenarios or exchanges is going to serve you, especially as you're learning the game, like you said, and putting that pressure on yourself. And you're going to, by nature of playing more and better people, get better at dinking anyways.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better myself. So that brings us to the more offensive professional pickleball tour. So let's talk about PPA Cincinnati. The first thing we're going to talk about is fantasy pickleball. I have the results.
No idea what's going on.
For those of you who have been following along, it was a little bit harder than I expected to figure out how to do this. All right. The grand total was 53 to 51. Quite a close match, all right? And to remind you guys all, we had Team Gino, which was Anna Leigh Waters, Christian Alshon, Paris Todd, Jaume Martinez-Vic, Jay DeVilliers, Gabe Tardio. And we had Team Nico, which was Ben Johns, Federico Stackstrud, Georgia Johnson, J.W. Johnson, Catherine Parento, and Anna Bright. And now, a couple things came into play. Got two different instances of walkovers, which I counted as wins for you. So congratulations. So maybe that helped out. Paris got sick, I believe, and withdrew at one point from something.
Yeah, she didn't play women's. I don't know. Realize if she she didn't play mix. I don't think she played. She didn't play one of the doubles, which was I was right. Like, and Paris was on my team, or Paris was on your team?
Paris was on your team.
Yeah, when I went back and looked, I was like, "Fuck! Did I miss that completely? Like she's not playing an entire shit."
Yeah, and did she? I don't remember what happened in singles. I don't know if she played singles because I don't remember her playing.
I think she played, but I think she lost to like Leia or Brooke. I think she lost. Okay. I think she lost to Catherine.
Okay.
In singles.
All right. I'm pretty sure. My thought was that she didn't play and then that she withdrew from mixed doubles, but something happened with Paris. She didn't play enough matches. Ben withdrew from singles the night before because he was afraid of Chris Hayworth. That is confirmed fact.
Yep.
So he didn't get as many. We ended up with Nico winning 53, Gino 51, which is surprising to me because your team seemed pretty shit to me.
I thought I was in the clear as well when I was like, the heavens have opened up when my boy, handsome pants, Jay DeVilliers beat John Lucian Goings. And I was like, I can't lose. The fantasy gods or the pickleball gods, I don't know, maybe they work together. They are coming together to boost my team. And then he lost to, I don't remember, Adam Harvey or whoever it was in the next round. I was like, how the do you beat?
He did lose to Adam Harvey, underrated singles player, but I agree. I don't know what happened with Jay. I would have bet like a lot of money that he was going to lose that match to Luch, but he did not. Anna Leigh, of course, ended up being the high point scorer overall. Number two being, guess who was the number two highest point scoring player?
Christian Alshon.
So the number one and number two high scoring players were both on your team. You still lost. And I picked like two players that didn't even play singles. But I like it. I like fantasy. So if anybody's watching and wants to get involved in fantasy, hit us up on Instagram or TikTok or Twitter, probably is the easiest way. And maybe we'll set up a fantasy draft for the next PPA that doesn't involve wood paddles.
Yes, that sounds like a great time. I'm seeing on Instagram or TikTok, whatever, all these people drilling with wood paddles, and I'm just thinking like that sounds fucking miserable. I don't know.
No, what a dork. I mean, you just gotta go in cold. Like if you're drilling with wood paddles, you take this way too seriously, and maybe you should because I'm not sure if you get PPA points for this. I'm assuming you have.
I really hope not. Like, imagine if like the NFL all of a sudden was like, hey, we're going to play a game, but you have to wear the leather helmet and like, the pillow shoulder pads. And that's going to be the game. And you're like, okay, so everybody's going to die. Or basketball, they're going to have like the actual basket and no 3-pointers. You're like,
you can't make 3-pointers or you can't do a forward pass. And we're going to play football. So yeah, I don't know, but you see people like, Zane and Colin Johns and the OGs of pickleball, really taking it seriously. So that's good for them. I looked at the draw, by the way, and like, I don't know if they allow qualifiers because there's like nobody signed up for pro qualifiers, and there's basically nobody signed up for the PPA besides pros in those events. It's in Sacramento, right over between the two of us, and I wanted to play, but there's nobody signed up. So maybe other people can sign up, or maybe they can realize that this tournament is like silly, and it could probably have just been like an exhibition on the side versus 1,000%. An actual. Like you could just say what they should have just done is said, $10,000 winner take all wooden paddle tournament.
I feel like if they're going to do this, they should have just gone all out and done it on Bainbridge Island or wherever it was. Like if you're going to be like, oh, this is going back to the roots, like do it where it actually happened in some asshole's backyard or whatever, like gravel and asphalt. Like don't just randomly put it in Sacramento and go, hey, by the way, wood paddles. That makes sense. This sounds like can I make this any more of a joke? Like people talking about how much of a joke pickleball is and how, it's not going to grow and stuff like that. Like these are kinds of things, if you're having a legitimate pro event, like also imagine tennis. If they're like, hey, you have to play with the same racket that John McEnroe played with. Do you think Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner are signing up for that?
No.
What the hell?
No, I don't think so. No. All right. So we'll talk more a little bit about that tournament next week as well. Maybe we'll give some fantasy picks, even just between the two of us. See if Colin Johns can become like the champion. I think Jay DeVilliers is going to do well because he's basically was playing with a wood paddle for the last 3 years.
He has a significant leg up on everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't need spin or touch.
And Jay DeVilliers and Matt Wright are probably just like, yes, I can't wait. Playing with my Onyx, 9mm paddle and my Vulcan.
That would be the greatest thing of all time.
Smooth as a baby's ass.
Lucy Kovalova and Matt Wright when mixed. That would be the greatest thing of all time.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know if Anna Leigh's playing or not. I hear Ben is going to be in like Malaysia or something like that. But if she is playing, I think like she would do pretty well because she like played with like the graphite face. Like she played with like a pretty nerfed paddle for like 2 years before upgrading to her most recent paddle tech. So
yeah, basically I'm going to hit the ball as hard as I can with this hard hitting paddle that gets no spin. Basically.
Yep. So Gino, talk to me about PPA Cincinnati. So we had Christian Alshon came through, won singles. Stacked field. I was hoping for Chris Hayworth to do something more. He had a wild draw where he was going to have to play Ben. I tweeted like his draw was like Ben Johns, Jack Sock, Federico, Connor Garnett, and then whoever he was going to play in the finals, Hunter or Christian Alshon, which would have been like the greatest run in history. But then Ben Johns went out and he got like our guy Jay Evans, Twitter guy, where he beat 11-1, 11-1. He ended up beating, and he won't let me forget, in between that match. Chris Hayworth beat Zane also pretty handily. I completely forgot about that. Then lost to Connor, which was bummed. I like Connor, Triple Crown winner of PPA Asia.
PPA whatever. Yeah. But PPA entire continent, PPA United States.
But I think two things from singles. One is Chris Hayworth is the real deal. He's here to stay. He can compete for a gold in any match. And two, is Christian Alshon better without Leigh Waters?
It's a great question. It's pretty funny. I saw something on, I think it was Instagram or something like that, where I think Matt Manassi, was in the booth with Cameron and talking about the upcoming match with Connor and Chris. And he's like, oh, who am I going to get the edge to in this match? Who has a lethal 200 backhand? Connor. But who's Connor 2.0? Chris Hayworth. So I'm putting my money on Chris Hayworth. And then, he just got kind of boat raced. And Chris Hayworth even like put that up on his page and was like, this didn't age well, or this aged like milk. Like, fuck, which is pretty funny. But I completely agree. I love watching Chris Hayworth. He just like, it seems like he just like doesn't really hit it as hard as he wants to, but he just like gets these two-handed backhands and these just like, he has like the rough finishes above his head, and he's kind of doesn't look like he has the singles, body type or whatever. Like he kind of does, like you look at like a Connor or a Christian or a Hunter or whoever, and it looks like they're like, hey, I was built for singles. And Chris Hayworth is just as good, if not better, than most of those people. And so I'm hoping to see more, and maybe speaking more of paddles is maybe once Chris Hayworth is not playing with Babolat paddle, we'll see that he gets to do more. Maybe we need more UPA sanctions so that way we can have more players playing with YOLO paddles. And to your point about Christian Alshon without Leigh Waters, I sure hope so, because again, if we go back to last week talking about it, I thought that was always the most bizarre coaching scenario as well. So I don't know who Christian has for a coach, but it seems like whoever it is working well, except for the loss that he and Catherine took. I don't remember who it was, but I was pretty surprised.
Connor Garnett and
oh yeah, hey.
Who was he playing with?
Millie Rain.
Millie Rain, yeah,
which was surprising to say the least. But, hey, I'm here for it. I used to like to dump on Christian, and it's kind of fun, but he's been putting in the work, so no shade to him. And I will say, though, I feel like the athletic specimen comments about Christian Alshon have gotten a little bit out of hand. It's like, look, hey, he's a very athletic dude. Don't get me wrong. And especially when we're looking in the little microscope that is pickleball, he's probably the most athletic person there is, other than Jack Sock, if he really wanted to try. But if you plucked Christian Alshon and you put him back into professional tennis or in literally any other like athletic sport, no commentator is going like, "Oh, look at Tyreek Hill running on the line," but you know who's the athletic specimen is Christian Alshon. They're like, come on, he's very fun to watch and he's great, but no.
If you put Christian Alshon in the NBA, they'd be like, "This is the glue guy. This is the high IQ player that shoots good threes." Like,
yeah, he's Kyle Korver. He just goes stand over there and shoot threes.
He can't move. He can't move laterally. He can't defend anybody, but he is smart.
He's so slow. He has no coordination. It's embarrassing.
Such coded language. That's So he is athletic, but he's also a pickleball player. So
exactly.
No offense to the sport that we all love.
He's more athletic than me. Hey, and also don't come for me. Of
course.
Don't fucking come for me.
Of course. And speaking of no coach here, there was a tweet by Leah Jansen that was like, "Oh, look, I think that basically there's no good pickleball coaches and you have to be able to like take some level of abuse from your player if you want to be a coach. Like you have to be able to be thick-skinned and most people can't take it." And I was just like thinking about that. And I was like, well, I mean, one, besides the fact that she like abuses me all the time repeatedly on Twitter, but I was like,
everybody, okay. Nobody's safe from her on Twitter. I love it. It's so good.
But I was like, okay, Leah, like you're a pickleball player, tennis player. Like if you want to take abuse, go play like a real sport, like football, basketball, baseball, soccer, any sport that's like team based, probably like more like old school. I don't know. Like the coach and the players are basically ripping each other's faces off repeatedly. All the teammates are ripping your face off every time you make a mistake. Nobody is safe. And it's nuts. Like tennis and pickleball, like if you can't take abuse from a pickleball player, like you shouldn't coach anything, let alone professional pickleball. Like I don't know. Like to me, I thought it was pretty funny. Like I think I have the temperament just by playing like high school soccer to be able to handle somebody yelling in my face.
Yeah, and especially I always wonder, what kind of abuse are you giving your coach in pickleball? I don't know. I've never seen a tense enough point or match where it's like getting in somebody's face or whatever. It's like I don't even know what that looks like. So if anybody has any ideas of or footage of people giving or getting abuse during pickleball, I'd love to see it because I don't think it exists.
No, exactly. And like even in tennis, like occasionally you might see like a tennis player like go like, "What's going on?" To his booth. But basically nothing. You know what I mean? Nothing. Like maybe they get yelled at after the fact, but I don't know. So anyway, so Leah, what I'm trying to say is I'll be happy to be your coach. But I think she's retired. Apparently she's like
to the abuse already. So
yeah, that's right. Exactly. I'm married to a Latina, so I can take it. And the other thing is, I think Leia is like retiring in 1 year anyway, so doesn't matter, which was surprising to me because I still feel like she's kind of at the top of her game. But all right, so that was men's singles, women's singles. Anything you want to add to women's singles, Gino? You got Anna Leigh Waters on top, Kei Fei-hee almost there.
Yeah. No, I think Kei Fei-hee's going to continue to get better. I think eventually the field is going to close in a little bit, but that's with Anna Leigh Waters in the draw. Women's singles basically is the least exciting draw there is, and then without Anna Leigh Waters, it becomes like one of the more fun. It's amazing. So I don't know if that's a kudos to Anna Leigh Waters or a dig at Anna Leigh Waters. I don't know.
Kudos, I think that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
She hasn't lost in like 450 days or something like that, so like a year and a half almost. I do think Kate's going to be the one that beats her eventually. If I were to put my money on who's going to be the person that gets a win, I don't know if Kate will ever beat her consistently, but like she's getting there. She was up like 9-4 in game 2. She had game 2, had her chances, and I think that she's like mentally tough enough to like try and compete. So I think between her and possibly Paris Todd, I think Paris Todd also has like a mental edge over most people when it comes to Anna Leigh Waters. Like I have beat you before, I could beat you again, but I think Kei Fei-hee has more of the skill to beat Anna Leigh Waters. So I think between one of those two, but my money's on Kate. What do you think? Do you think anybody that's currently playing pickleball is going to eventually beat her, or is she just going to go undefeated forever?
I think that Kate can beat her. I think maybe Paris can sneak one. But the thing you got to think about as well is these people that she's playing against are 27, 28, 29. And Anna Leigh Waters is 18. So Anna Leigh is still going like this in her, athletic peak. And all the other people are going like this in their athletic peak. And so I think the person to beat her consistently is going to have to be somebody that either is growing up like she did in pickleball and is getting better and more physically capable of doing so, rather than these people that, again, are also athletes and more athletic than myself. But I don't think I see them then coming back up like this and then as a 31-year-old consistently beating Anna Leigh Waters.
No, I don't think so either. She's so good and so far ahead of everybody else in women's singles that like I keep thinking, is the person that is going to be the next number one women's singles player in the world, has that person ever played pickleball?
It's a great question. Because honestly, if you think she's 18 and
Yeah.
she has been a pro and the number one player in the world for what, since she was 15?
Yeah.
And so she probably will be able to, at least for the next, I don't know, 10 years or so, probably. Like until if Kate Fahey, if we're saying, is the person that can possibly be Anna Leigh, and Kate Fahey's what, 28, 29?
28, I think, maybe, yeah.
Something like that. So you would assume that Anna Leigh Waters is going to be able to at least sustain this level of pickleball skill and prowess for the next 10 years. So is there some 5-year-old, has the person that can consistently beat her even been born yet? Like, I don't know. We'll see. I think you're starting to see more and more, like if you go to the courts or you go to like a club or whatever, you're starting to see more and more like little kids, like 5 years old, hitting pickleballs. And so I think that is what it's going to take. And so I don't think anytime soon, I don't think any person that started playing pickleball when they were 15 or 16 is going to be able to beat her. But I think maybe, which is crazy to think, like maybe when Annalie's in her mid 20s, she'll start losing consistently. But I think the thing that's going to beat Annalie is like a Ben Johns level boredom. Like eventually she's going to be like, look, I triple crowned 100 times. I don't give a shit anymore. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to play MLP really, and then somebody else is going to swoop
She's
in.
going to make enough money. She can just retire on top and never, she'll be the Floyd Mayweather of, women's pickleball. I don't know. But I think to me, what's going to happen is like the person that's going to beat her is going to be someone that, as you mentioned, grew up, playing racket sports, tennis, pickleball from an early age, and has like the build of like a Grand Slam semifinalist, like someone that's like 5'11" to 6'1", athletic freak. Anna Leigh Waters, smaller. She hits hard, but like, you get somebody like Sabalenka in tennis and say, if you would have played pickleball your whole life, my guess is that she would be better than Anna Leigh Waters, just because she is physically gifted to part that Anna Leigh is not. So one of those people are gonna come up eventually, and they're gonna figure it out. So. But until then, Anna Leigh, enjoy like the next 5-10 years or whatever. You're so far ahead of everybody. Great. So. Speaking from one go to another, men's doubles, Ben and Gabe on top again, 4 in a row for them. I think like 5 out of the last 6. Ben has 8 gold medals this year in men's doubles. Are they like rolling the rest of the year, or what's happening with them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be very, very tough to beat them. I don't know if they will go. I don't know if they're going to have like a Ben Collin 2023 level, or I don't know if that's 2023, 2024 level consistently, where I'm just going to be like, it's not, I don't think in my head, when I look at a draw, I'm going to think, who's playing for second? Would my money be on Ben and Gabe most games? Yeah. Or most matches and most tournaments? Yes. But I could see, there are a lot of good pairings, team power forward, whatever, or Fed and Hayden, which I loved, by the way. I loved seeing Hayden on the left and Fed on the right, and then starting to work that in, because I think that's definitely much more needed as we're talking about being more offensive. Gabe is so much more crafty and offensive than Fed is, I would say. And so that was cool to see. But yeah, I think men's doubles is more exciting than, like a women's singles kind of thing. But I think at the very least, we'll see Ben and Gabe in 95% of finals getting silver or gold.
Yeah, probably. I think so too. I think it's like you have an obvious top 4 teams and then an obvious one out of those top 4. I think there at the beginning of the year, it was like which of these 4 teams is going to come out on top. And I think we figured that one out. And I think the only thing that was stopping them initially was like Gabe nerves. And now Gabe knows how to play with Ben. That makes it a little bit more scary. And as much as everybody likes to hate on Ben, he's still the best player in the world in men's doubles, I think, by far. So much so, though, Gino, that I want to ask you this question. I posed this question also on Twitter, and that was, is Ben better doubles player in pickleball than Anna Leigh Waters? Like, let me throw out some thoughts for you. They both have the same number of gold medals this year. All right? So, Ben has played and won a gold medal, I think, with 3 people, if not. He won 1 with Colin. He won 2 with Andre. He won, I think, 5 with Gabe. So I think that's his 8. He played with Hayden. I don't know if I'm missing anybody. Anna Leigh has got to play with Catherine. and Anna Bright. So she started with her actual partner, played a bunch with her actual partner, then played with the second best women's player in the world. And I'm not sure if people think Gabe, I don't think Gabe is necessarily the second best men's player in the world, but I don't know. Maybe the second best person to, or the best person to play with Ben, but I don't know. Like they have the same stats, and Ben has done it with more people, to me, which might be more impressive. And obviously, you can't tell who's better at mixed doubles because they play together.
Yeah, it's tough because I feel like my brain goes in two different ways for this question. Where I think and I think we were talking about this with MLP, is if you tried to put them against each other, if you put Ben versus Anna Leigh like in a mixed doubles match, Anna Leigh knows how to beat Ben and is not as doesn't have a mental block around like, hey, I'm going to lose this match, or I'm afraid of this person across the court. But I think when you go to women's and men's and men's, I would say that it's so tough because I'm trying to think of like who are the best players in genders, because on the women's side you got Anna Bright, you got Georgia, you got Tyra, you got the Kawamotos, and so I'm like, oh, maybe the women's field is starting to sandwich up, and then it's like Ben, but then you think you got Andre, you got Gabe, you got Hayden, you got Christian, and these guys are all very close to Ben as well. And so like I think the gap is getting smaller and smaller. Do you think if it were up to, and maybe this is not the way to answer the question, but if you were to say, hey, who are you going to put your money on for the next PPA to win gold, Anna Leigh in women's doubles or Ben in men's doubles, I would still probably put my money on Anna Leigh over Ben. And I think that's the only way I'm kind of weighing out this question, even though, there's no empirical evidence, other than if we're talking about the last, whatever it is, 8 weeks or so of pickleball, there's no stats to back. If you look in the past, then Anna Leigh has been winning all the time. But I think most people would scoff and start to go like, oh, Anna Leigh, blah, 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 triple crowns, blah, 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 blah. But it's a much more thought-provoking discussion than I think it is on the surface.
Yeah, and it's it's something that we couldn't have had this conversation last year because Ben was losing a ton in men's, and kind of the shine was wearing off. But now it's back. I think Ben is back. He's kind of basically killed singles Ben. He doesn't exist really, and nobody. I don't know why anybody really cares. I mean, obviously you want to see him play singles, but doubles is where the money's at. And like, if you're the best doubles player in the world, just keep playing doubles. That's fine. So I don't know. I still think also my money is on Anna Leigh as being kind of like the pound for pound best player in the world, but Ben is like right there. Like you could make the argument for either player. So I don't know. All right. Anyway, so speaking of Anna Leigh, let's talk about like actually the most exciting draw of the whole tournament, which it seems like it's now the case over the past couple tournaments, is women's doubles, which we thought was all going to die with Anna Leigh and Anna Bright teaming up, but it has not. Wow. So
it's funny.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I think I posted on Twitter or X or whatever we want to call it. I was like, I don't think my heart is ready or my body is ready to have yet again the best women's doubles match we've seen of all time. Like when the Kawamotos were playing Anna Leigh and Anna Bright, I was like, my God, like how many times in a row is, I'm going to have a heart attack because I'm like, oh, this is the best women's match I've ever seen. And then the next one is the best women's match I've ever seen. And so watching that match, I think it was the semis when you were playing your tournament, and I was just thinking like, oh, I hope Nico gets to watch this match while he's at his tournament, because this is an incredible sight to see. The Kawamotos keep their level up. But I want to point out, I feel like what the difference had been, and it's obviously people will have to go to Twitter, myself included, just because I like to stir the pot and hopefully get at least one rage tweet out of Leia. But I was like, at what point does Anna Leigh drop Anna Bright, which she definitely should not, because Anna Bright still is definitely the number 2 best player. And anybody that says that with a legitimate context is a fucking idiot. But I think what the biggest thing was, you would see these teams when it was Anna Leigh and Catherine, and it was like Anna and Rachel, when they were both at playing their best pickleball, it was like, hey, it's neck and neck. But then it would every single time, and this goes to like the greatness of Anna Leigh and who she plays with and stuff like that, is just Anna Leigh and Catherine would keep their level there, and either Rachel or Anna would just like come down a little bit, and for like 6 points or 7 points in a row, and then they would lose. And so what happened with the Kawamotos, in my opinion, is just like they both are right neck and neck when they're playing their best pickleball And the Kawamotos just didn't drop their level at all. And so with that, that's why they won. It's amazing to see the Kawamotos play because they have the most. I've never played pickleball in my life, two-handed resets I've ever seen. Like the way that they like hold their paddle down and just like push their paddle. I don't know if anybody is at a computer right now, whatever, look up the Kawamotos playing. And whenever they get a ball that they have to like two-handed dink or reset, it's just like, it's like this weird push out, but it's unattackable. It's perfect, is amazing. And just like maybe it's just because they're so short, but like they stand like straight up and they're just like hitting these amazing balls that doesn't seem like they should be so offensive. And it was, I don't even know how to describe that match. It was amazing to watch them taking all of these harsh, because Anna Leigh and Anna Bright just left to just go for broke. And they're just like, boop, boop, boop. And then they get a little bit on top of it. And you're like, oh my God, come on, please. And they put it away. And they're just so calm. They're like, oh, cool. And then they like walk back. How are you not a little bit more hyped?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy to watch. Like, I think that their build is like, maybe that's the prototype for women's doubles. I don't know, because they're like, every ball is like waist high for them, so like it makes it nice and easy for them to hit speed ups and aggressive dinks whenever they want. They can leave out balls as well because it's so easy to see, shoulder high is just basically slightly over the net. They're so calm. So, it was weird to see. I always knew that they had something like this in them. Obviously not like this maybe, but I think, you remember, and we were both upset, 2024 PPA Desert Ridge, the Kawamotos were up, I think like 8-0 or 8-1 on Anna Leigh and Catherine in game 3. And I think the semifinals, and they blew it. They lost. And what was nice was, I think that the quote after the fact was like, we found a pattern, or we found the formula.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Something like that, right? Like, we figured it out. And then basically they don't play with each other for like the next 18 months.
What are you guys doing?
I know. I just wonder if like they're the biggest what if in all of pickleball, because like they said like they've played like 40 matches total together ever. Like, what? You two are so good, but also you are so much better together than you are with other people. Like, you lift everybody up, but the two of you together is insane. And so they've played, I guess maybe 5 times this year out of like 15 tournaments or so, and they're like gold, silver, bronze quarterfinals or something like that. Like, they're medaling all the time. And so like, I think we just need to like petition, or maybe the PPA needs to create an exclusive contract for them that's like, we double your prize money every time you guys play together. But like, I do also get the feeling that they hate playing together. Like, even when they're winning, they're bizarre. Just like they just like, they're like nice, but through like gritted teeth. Like, oh my God, my sister is such a piece of shit. Like, I can't believe she hit that ball into the
nice
net
you dickhead.
again. Yeah, exactly. Like, so like, I think they know that, and they just have so much more fun playing without each other, which is like totally acceptable for family members. But hopefully this maybe at least says like, okay, like let's cancel whatever future plans we have, and let's try and play a couple more together and see if we can ride this out, because I think tactically they're super smart. Physically they have like the right tool set to like be super aggressive from the kitchen line, and they just basically like stood back like 2 feet off the kitchen line and just like blasted counters anytime somebody wanted to attack them, and then hit the most aggressive dinks I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I think just like when you were talking about like prototypical body type, I know it's kind of like a joke because they're, shorter and things like that. But honestly, as I'm thinking about it, specifically in women's doubles, because women play so far off the line, it's not like women are really reaching in a ton usually. I think like, the whole benefit of length is that you can reach in and take balls out of the air and flick and roll. But like in women's doubles, how often are you seeing women take a dink off the bounce that bounces past the kitchen line? And so maybe it will be, that's a benefit to them is being so short. But I still remember, and this just shows how obsessed with pickleball I am, is I remember when the whole Paris Todd APP PPA drama was happening, and she went to the APP, she went to the minor leagues for like a whole year and was playing with Siboni and was just cleaning up basically. I remember one time, I don't even know why, because this may be like the first or second time I ever watched APP live, and it was like a championship match, and they played the Kawamotos, and they were like the 21 seed. and they were losing. And I was like, how the hell are Paris and Simone losing to these two short twin girls that probably like were qualified? I don't know what the hell's going on. And apparently they're the real deal. And so that I'm also the thing that makes me the saddest is when somebody has a humongous win like that and then can't close the deal. And then even though it was against Georgia and Tyra, who I've been on record, they're one of my favorite women's doubles team, or maybe they maybe are my favorite women's doubles team. But I was like, I really hope that after the Kawamotos beat Anna Leigh and Anna, that they beat Georgia and Tyra, because I don't want it to be like, oh, we did that, but we couldn't close the deal. And then when they went down 0-2, I guess, in Championship Sunday, I was just like, oh man. And then they went 3 in a row. It's crazy. I don't know how often that happens, but maybe that's why I'm not built for Championship Sunday Pro Pickleball. But I feel like if I was down 0-2, I was just like, okay, shit. Like, let me just lose so I can be like Anna Leigh and I'll run off the court and sulk in my private jet.
It was good to see that they're in there, and so now we have another top tier team, and so hopefully we have Georgia and Tyra playing together, Anna Leigh and Anna Bright, the Kawamotos, and then you got like a couple other teams that you can throw together between Rachel Rohrabacher and Catherine Parento and Paris Todd to make another good team. So you got good semifinals for sure, basically every single match in women's doubles, which is pretty awesome. So that's all we can ask for. So looking forward to see what happens with them next. Kawamoto seemed like another set of people that might be able to compete pretty well in a wood paddle tournament, but I don't know if they're going or not. But we'll see if they can keep their run alive and see how far they can make it by the end of the year. All right. Anything else? We had mixed doubles. Ben and Anna Leigh, they won. They got the rematch against Anna Bright and Andre, and it was kind of a dud. Anna Bright and Andre couldn't really do anything, didn't get a game victory on them. I still like that team a lot, and I think they should keep playing together. But Anna, notorious for playing with a bunch of different people all the time, so we'll see what happens with her. Any thoughts on mixed doubles?
No, I feel like Anna Bright should just stick with Andre Descu. I think that's a fantastic team. That's the team that she should be with. The one thing I was thinking about more and more is like, I wonder if, I don't know what happened to cause them to break up in terms of personal relationships, but I wonder if there's enough time that has passed that Anna Leigh could give James Ignatowich another chance. Because like, I feel like the two of them were so good together in terms of mixed play, and maybe that was just back in the day when there weren't as many people to play mixed that were as good and the field's gotten closer. But yeah, I want Anna Bright to stop just like merry-go-rounding to find, you stick with it for like 3 or 4 tournaments, because she obviously has her pick of the litter. Like any single male out there would immediately drop their current mixed doubles partner for Anna Bright. That's, no question. Even JW. I feel like JW would be like, sorry, Georgia. And I feel like Julie would probably be like, if you want to do it, JW, go ahead. She should just stick with one partner and figure out how to play with them, because I think Anna and Andre is probably the right choice. But again, James Ignatowich, apologize, or Anna Bright, apologize, and just give it one more shot, because
I don't know. Fun. I mean, maybe Anna Bright just likes being able to steal mixed doubles partners. Maybe that's like her favorite thing. It's like, look, I'm gonna ask Fed, and then he's gonna drop his partner, and then I'm gonna ask Hayden, he's gonna drop his partner, and then I'm gonna ask Gabe, and he's gonna drop his partner, and then so everybody's dropping their partners to play with Anna Bright. They're all doing great. I'm gonna tell Deckel, and Deckel's gonna drop Rachel. And everybody wins with Anna Bright. So it's like, you got to say yes. You know what I mean? She's basically the only person that would say no is Ben, because she's done great. She had one tournament with JW, and they took Anna Leigh and Ben to 5 in Championship Sunday, I think. So she had one time with Deckel, and I think beat Ben and Anna Leigh. So yeah, I'm not sure what she's gonna do. She seems like she's probably just gonna keep playing the field. But Andre, Anna Bright, I'm all for it. Somebody needs to team up and stay consistent to try and beat these two unstoppable pickleball players.
I know. It's basically, it's like, you have a chance, maybe they'll win one game. They'll win one game in either a semifinal or a final, and it'll be like 11-8, and then the next games are just like 11-1, 11-2, and they just beat the shit out of you. Like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Fun.
So speaking of our guy, James Ignatowich, you saw James, he's no longer with Selkirk. And so he decided to create his own paddle. He is the founder or CEO or something of RPM Pickleball. So I actually have the RPM paddle sitting here literally right next to me.
So jealous.
Oh,
Mine's in the mail. I'm getting mine today.
Apparently, you can find these in Florida, and if you just like, go talk to RPM, and I'm sure that they have a paddle that you can buy from them. But I mean, to me, I haven't yet to hit it, but James is either the best or worst person on earth to create a paddle. Like, to me, his brain is wired a little different, and you guys can read between the lines however you want, but he seems like somebody that could either like create something that's like just insane, like he figures out how to tweak something from the formula and the algorithm and whatever to make a paddle that has never been seen before, or he seems like someone that doesn't have like the patience to sit down and like think of a plan and just said, China, go build us a paddle and like send it to me. I don't give a shit. So like it's one of those two, but I'm hearing good things. It's called the Friction Pro, and apparently it's got a crazy spin, which to me is like, power is awesome, and I feel like that's kind of just like a table stakes. But when the paddle has insane spin, like that's when you feel unstoppable, because all of a sudden the ball that you're hitting 70 miles an hour is actually staying in the court, and then you feel like a god.
Yeah, everybody talks about, you don't need to hit a hard drive, you need to hit a dipping drive. And so that's the biggest thing. And I think it's going to be a really good paddle. He had an interview with Matt's Pickleball. I don't remember what his name is, but one of the paddle reviewers. And just like, I swear James Ignatowich was turned to like 1.25 times speed when they got into like paddle technology. And he's like, oh, well, actually the density of the high density foam on the throat is on the whole thing. And it's actually 1.3. But you're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? And so I think he's the kind of guy that when he's interested in something, he's like obsessive about it. Like I used to watch, and I think you used to watch some of his Selkirk podcast and like he would go for 20 minutes, what seemed like off the cuff, on like the first portion of one. He's like, oh, hitting a 200 backhand dink, and he would just talk about like from here to here, and it was just like this drawn out, like this is why, and this is how, and this is the ball, and when I'm thinking about this, my feet, and you're like, holy shit, like how do you know this kind of thing? And so I think it sounds like he's put a lot of time into making this paddle. And I feel like after 3 years of playing with Selkirk dog shit, he is probably ready for a good paddle. And so I can't wait to get mine today. Shout out RPM for making a paddle.
Yeah, crazy. And poor guy, he basically endured the dark ages of Selkirk where they didn't have a good paddle for like 3 years. And as soon as they create basically the best paddle in the game, he leaves and creates his own paddle company. So we will see how it turns out. I think, to your point, he in his brain functions the way Ben Johns wishes his brain functioned.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he's like actually, like evil genius scientist, where Ben Johns is like, sometimes I feel like he's projecting. I'm like, okay, you want to sound really smart, and James just doesn't know how to talk, and it's just like, and then all of a sudden just everything comes out. So hopefully all that came out on paper and then got shipped to a lab in China where they made an amazing paddle, and we'll see. But it looks clean, and I will tell basically any paddle company, by the way, that like the less here, honestly, the better. Like I like a white edge, to be quite honest, clean, and then I like a black face. I like the colors white, and I like the color black. Like this is pretty much exactly what I need. And I think paddle companies are understanding, but like, Pro Connect's Black Ace with like a huge thing in the middle, or some of the, the J2 KNF.
Yeah, exactly. It's a humongous, I guess it has a Bible verse on it or something like that.
A Bible verse and a sword and a shield. And it's like, this is the exact opposite of what I want. Honestly, I'm not really usually a big fan of Selkirk's like big S in the middle of their paddles. They're getting a little bit better, but like, make a clean black and white paddle and that nobody can tell apart. And I don't care about branding. If your paddle is good, nobody else also cares about branding, and they will figure it out. So
all they care about is whether or not Chris Olsen or Braden Unsick or whatever says this paddle is good and you should buy it, and then every single person will sell your paddle. It doesn't look like, if you could put a little piece of shit on it if you want to, and if those two guys say that the paddle is good, it's going to sell. So just make it good, and then all of your worries will be put to rest.
100%. And I think that some of these paddle companies are specifically trolling us by creating the stupidest names for their companies on planet Earth and their paddles, so that they can just prove that if Chris Olsen likes it, you'll buy it. They're like, our paddle company name is going to be 11624 with one of them spelled out, two of them not spelled out. Nobody knows what that means. Our paddle model is going to be a J2KNF plus or whatever. I don't know what that means either, but people still buy it, like hotcakes because, the reviewers who we all follow, they like it. So
yeah, like bread and butter. We're going to release a paddle called the Loco, and then we're just, what we're going to do? We're just going to release another paddle, and we're also going to call it the Loco, and just make it a completely different paddle because people are going to say it's good, and people are going to buy it. So you're like, okay, what the hell is going on? I just point and shoot basically is what I'm just like. Is which paddle should I get? Okay, I'm going to get that one. I'm going to get this one. That's all I need in my life.
All right, and then I have story time here. I want to tell you. So I did get a paddle. So a company reached out and they said, "Oh, hey, would you like to? We'll send you like a gift box if you like to do a video." And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Why not? I want to see what this is about." Like, to me, honestly, like if you want to send me something, I will at least look at it, open it, try it out. Whether or not I like it or not, that's a different story. Whether or not it's quality or not, whatever, right? Like. Pickleball people are doing a lot of cool stuff, so I like to just see what everybody does. And so I said, okay, it's by this company, Rove, which I'd never heard of. And so I got it. I opened it up in the mail. The package smells, and I'm like, why does this smell? What is happening? Right? I open it up and I pull out a paddle that kind of looks like mid-tier paddle, and on the paddle it says Dinks and Doobies. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And then I open, like, I see some balls on the side, and like I open the pocket. And there are 15 pre-rolled joints in the box.
Did you have to sign for this package?
No, I did not have to sign for this. I did not.
This is some illegal ass shit right here.
I don't know how that works. So I got it, and of course I opened it and I did some some videos with it. But I was like, all right, cool. Like I did not in my wildest dreams expect to have a doobie kit. Weed produced paddle company. But by the way, guys, if you partake and like that stuff, like pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like, and pickleball is pretty chill, and some people could probably, chill the fuck out when they play pickleball. And so, like I said, though, it's already too hard to tell the score. So if you're okay with basically nobody knowing what the score is and just having a good time, check out Dinks and Doobies or give. I tested it out, and then I gave the package to my parents.
I tested
our
it
parents. Out. I tested it out. I gave the rest of it to mom and dad. For those of you who don't know, Gino and I are brothers.
Yeah, we either on that note it's weird that people talk. It's like we're either the same person, or people don't realize that we are. They're like, I get random messages like, "Hey, are you connected to Nico the lefty at all?" And I'm like, "You mean Gino the righty? Are you serious?" Or people will be like, "Oh shit, I thought you were the same guy," and I'm like. What the hell's going on?
So we are related. I am the older brother, and so we gave them to my parents. What they did with it, I'm not exactly sure. But fun story for everybody. So like 2 years ago, like right when like recreational marijuana was illegal in Nevada, for Christmas. I got my parents edibles, right? So like these gummies, and they've never smoked weed. They're none of that stuff. It's just so new to them. I told them what it was, right? Got put it in their stocking. I thought it was like funny. It was like a white elephant gag gift, whatever. Then we went out of town, and it was I think my mom and I, and maybe you were there. I don't remember. Or my wife. We're out of town, and then like we get a call from my dad, who's like, "All right, I tried the stocking stuffer gummies, right? And I took one, which is pretty much all you need, maybe two maximum.
Half of one, maybe.
Yeah, I gave him
a 70-year-old or whatever.
Yeah, I gave him a 10-pack. And he's like, yeah. So I tried it, and then he's like, and nothing worked. I didn't feel anything, so I just ate the rest of the pack, all 10, right? And so he didn't realize that like it takes like 20 minutes to hit. So his one first and only time of partaking was taking like 150 milligrams of like THC or whatever the active ingredient is, and getting paranoid, having the worst stomach issue of his life. And if anybody's ever had that experience, not saying I have, but it's not fun. So poor guy was all by himself, and this is his dad, make sure that you follow instructions next time. All right. So anyway, so that's our story. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. We are still unsponsored, so hit us up in the DMs or the comments or email, and we'll put you Brighton front and center, and we will remove all of our weed content to talk about your.
Yeah, exactly. We'll wear the shirts. We'll put a hat. I'll put a visor on. I'll look like Alex Newman up in here. I don't care what it is. I'll replace all of this with your stuff. Help us. We're poor.
Help us. We're poor. All right. And with that, help us. We're poor. We're poor. We will end this episode of Forehands Middle podcast. I'm Nico, and it's Gino. And until next time.
Appreciate it.